How's it going, everyone? My name is Donovan and this is How to Happy. In this video we're going to be talking about metacognition. So essentially, what is metacognition and why is it important? Metacognition is a word that sounds technical and a little clunky. It may or may not be something that you've heard of before, but it is an important skill that we should have and develop, as it can really lead to happiness. So first, let's break down a little bit what metacognition is. Essentially, metacognition is just thinking about thinking. It's understanding how you think. It's looking at kind of the bigger picture of not your specific actions, but how you act as a whole. One example to make this a little bit more clear is you can think about driving, right? We all know how to drive. We get in the car, we turn the ignition, we drive down the streets, etc., etc. We can mirror that with kind of how we have our normal thoughts. We know how to think and go throughout the day. But if you take a step back and think about your driving, for example, how do you drive, right? That's the next level up. So are you taking certain routes that are slower? Do you drive kind of erratically? Do you drive super fast? These kinds of things are the how behind your driving. In the same way, you can think about the how behind your thinking by asking yourself questions about your thoughts and kind of identifying common patterns. Now, the nice thing about understanding your thoughts is that you can then figure out how effectively you're doing certain actions. So if we go back to driving, if you understand that when you drive fast, perhaps you get pulled over a lot too. So while at the base level, you might think you're saving time. When you step and look back at the big picture, you realize you're actually losing time and money from the amount of times that you get pulled over, as opposed to saving time by driving quickly. We can think about thought patterns in a lot the same way, right? Instead of just going along with what we normally do and how we normally think, we can use different tools to reflect on how we think and see how effective those patterns are. Continuously repeating this process of going throughout actions and then reflecting on them and your thoughts is going to give you a very valuable skill. The specific ways that you can do something like this are meditation, journaling, personality tests, just general reflection of things you do throughout the day. These are different ways that you can start thinking about how you are thinking and acting, and then find strategies that are efficient for you. Another way that you can frame the idea of metacognition in your mind is to imagine that you are a captive in your own mind, which is to say, you just observe thoughts as they come up and then ask yourself questions to get a little bit deeper. So for example, if the thought comes up, I probably won't get that promotion, you can start asking yourself questions around that thought. Do I usually have thoughts that I'm not going to accomplish something? Am I always negative towards myself? Why don't I think I'll get that promotion? Why is that how you're thinking? Are you generally just negative, or do you think someone else is more qualified? Or do you think that the person above you doesn't like you, right? What brought this thought up and what are the patterns surrounding it? This is going to give you deeper insight into your thinking in general. Now, when you're practicing some of these ideas, it's not to judge yourself, right? You shouldn't come up with, oh, I don't think I'm going to get that promotion, and then ask yourself why. Well, I'm just a negative person and I guess I suck at everything kind of idea, right? That's not the direction that we want to take this. Instead, we want to identify these patterns without applying a judgment to them, but just identify them so we can look for more effective ways to think, as well as combat these negative ideas and replace them with things that are more positive. So let me give you an example of actually using this strategy. Let's say that you're reading through something, trying to learn some new material, and as you're sitting there, you just think, oh my gosh, I hate reading. I can never retain any of this information. That's a sign, if you're cued in, to start asking yourself more questions and go a little bit deeper. Why don't you like reading? Do you not have the strategies that you need to comprehend, written material? Or is it just that you're better at retaining audio information? Would it be better for you to get the audio version of the book so you can listen to it? These are ways that you can actually use concrete information that you get from digging out your thoughts to create more effective strategies for yourself. If you've learned that you're better at retaining audio, you can now pick up audio versions of books or other information as much as possible, and that's going to lead to better outcomes. That's essentially the entire point of metacognition, is just to understand yourself better so that you can come up with better strategies which are going to lead you to greater happiness through less stress and other things of that nature. Let's move on to the exercise section. Number 1, try practicing metacognition. As thoughts arise, ask yourself where they came from and why you're having them. 2, when you identify a thought pattern you dislike, how can you challenge and change it? Number 3, what methods of understanding your thoughts better are most appealing to you? Remember, we have meditation, reflection, journaling, personality tests, and there are a lot more if you just look into it, but which ones are most appealing to you? That's all I've got for this video. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, topics you want me to cover, throw them down in the box below and I will get to them as soon as I can. That's all for this one. I'll see you next time. You can check out more content at howtohappy.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the videos. We've also got a Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook that you can check out. Reflect, take action, and enjoy life. See you next time.